Hello, bright ones. Thanks for taking a few moments to relax and tune in and listen and receive with me. I'm here with another Illuminate Your Energy Reset. It's been a couple of weeks since we've sat down to talk with each other. And the only reason I have for that is that pause felt necessary. The pause felt necessary for me. When I sit here and talk with you the way that I do, oftentimes what comes up is how important it is for us to be doing our own self-inquiry, how important it is for us to listen to our needs, to honor our needs, and to really acknowledge the rhythm and the momentum that is flowing in our lives and what our inner momentum and our inner rhythm are really asking for. And so the last couple of weeks was about me taking some of my own medicine. Not that I was taking time off completely, and even if I did take time off completely, that would be absolutely 100% okay if that's what I needed. But what I was really feeling was my energy was being drawn in other areas that my creative force was asking for, but I wasn't necessarily making the time and the space for, because I thought, well, I have to keep up the consistent rhythm that I've already set for myself. And it's an interesting thing. We as humans have a tendency, such a tendency to do that. We set a course for ourselves. We set the pace. We set the momentum. We set the rhythm. We set the schedule. And then we say to ourselves, self, you need to keep that schedule. You need to stay on that exact schedule because that's the commitment that you made. And what I begin to realize more and more is we are living in a world, especially this Western cultural societal norm, where schedule has taken on an energy of oppression in so many ways. We've been indoctrinated into this idea that our rhythm must look a certain way. Our schedules must look a certain way. Busyness is a certain way. And we think that we need to continue to subscribe to what society has deemed necessary. You must do it this way. And I truly believe in the depths of my soul that we are embarking on a time where we're calling these untruths into the light of day and saying, wait, this isn't really working. And some of you listening might say, well, okay, Savi, but if you dial back and unplug from all of the things that keep the scheduled rhythm and momentum of our day-to-day lives going, then who'll make the coffee? And who will make sure that there's food on the table? And who will take care of the mundane details of life? And I truly believe that the answer to that is all of the things that are necessary to keep our lives moving would still keep moving. They might move in a different way. They might happen and be created in a different way. But they would happen because there would be the inspired, aligned momentum to make those things happen. And I know that sounds like a complete, you're crazy. That's not even possible. I guess what I'm sitting here right now talking about isn't that I've got a new system all figured out. What I am here to talk about is how I think that the systems that are in place are literally crushing our souls. And I don't think that's what we're here for. Our souls are here for infinite expansion, not to feel crushed. And when and if we do feel crushed, and those of you who are listening, if you resonate with this, you understand what it is that I'm saying. If we feel soul crushed in any way, if we feel held down, paralyzed, frozen, disconnected, detached, at any point, that is our inner guidance system telling us that there is a different way for us to be navigating. That's our inner guidance system telling us, you're not meant to feel frozen and paralyzed right now. What does your deepest soul need? What is it that your heart is begging you to recognize, to acknowledge? And I know that these foundational points often come up in these messages, because really this is what it's all about. In the couple of weeks that I've had between talking together like this, I've continued seeing people for sessions. I've continued to communicate with people across the landscape of this amazing earth that we're living on. And this foundational thing of self-care continues to be like, it's really where our attention needs to be. And this is not a fluffy notion. This is not a fluffy notion. This is so critical and so important to these times that we're living. I started to recognize as I was thinking about things these last couple weeks that really these videos, these messages that come through when I sit down and talk with you in this way, I'm really talking specifically to all of us sensitive souls out there that are aware of this time of awakening, that are aware of the importance, the critical nature of our conscious realization in these times. And that may be very obvious to those of you who have been regularly listening. For me, there's these gentle little aha moments that continue to just make things even more clear for me. And I begin to realize that what these messages really are about is self-care for sensitive souls. Because those of us that feel the highly sensitive nature of our being the way that we do, we know that there is another way of living and being that is critically necessary for us all right now. And we can know that in the core of our being. We can feel it in every cell, every fiber, every aspect of who we are. And we may or may not know how to address that, how to live changes and transformation alive within the sensitivity of our nature that really support us in our growing, in our evolution, and in our transformation. One of the things that I hear, I can't count anymore how many times I hear this. I feel like it honestly is probably mentioned at least once, and may even be a main point topic in every conversation that I have with someone that I'm doing one-on-one session work with, intuitive guidance work. And it may blatantly come forward, or it may be riding in the undercurrent. But what it is that everyone, and I'm sorry if I'm generalizing, this is my observation, and I will include me in this. I'm still working on navigating this spectrum of busyness. I've talked about this before. We live in a society, especially in the Western world, where we have completely subscribed to being busy. And we use being busy sometimes, I'm observing, myself included, as a stand-in for change, as a stand-in for being able to show up for what it is that we really need and what we really want. And sometimes it is busyness out of responsibility, out of obligation even, out of caring for our children, for our families, out of meeting the needs of the day. And I understand that. I also understand that I see a society that is so ingrained in the narrative of being busy that scheduling is like that is the first and foremost thing that everyone's doing, because we're all time short and we're all trying so hard to fit the next thing in. So then Savi comes and sits down and has messages about self-care for sensitive souls, and Savi invites herself and everyone else to take time for self-inquiry, to take time to slow down, to listen, to process, to honor, to acknowledge. And that can sound like, well, here's Savi just asking me to fit another thing into my schedule that is already overwhelmed and overflowing and overbusy. How can I possibly make time for self-care for my sensitive soul when already I am so stretched to every limit and every capacity? And my answer to that is, because I know what this is for myself, if I don't acknowledge when I need a pause, when it's time to check in, when I need a soul reset, if I don't acknowledge that, things spin completely out and I don't even feel like I'm me. I don't even feel like I'm grounded in my body. I don't even feel like I am good for anything. Good for myself, good for those that I love, that I serve. How could I possibly be? Because I'm not taking care of myself. So the next thing that rises up in these conversations oftentimes is, well, I have been paying more attention to this. I've given myself a scheduled massage once a week, once every other week, once a month. I have taken weekends away with friends. I've enjoyed a movie that's just for me. I'm scheduling these things that are all about how I can feel more nurtured and more cared for within myself. And I say, that's perfect. As long as you're really enjoying those things, as long as when you are immersed in those things, that you are present there, that you are fully in the moment of self-nurturing and self-acknowledgement, and that you can do that with complete abandon and joy and be just radiantly present in the joyful expansion of the moment of fun and self-care that you've allowed for yourself. Perfect. And many times what I observe is that's not exactly the case. These things are scheduled in, so it's another scheduling situation. And while it's a really fun thing and something to look forward to, you immerse in the experience of the massage or the music concert or just time with friends, and simultaneously there's feelings of guilt. I should be doing this. I could have taken care of that. I wish I would have gotten 5 more things done that were on my list. So there's really not a presence of full dropping in. We need to acknowledge it is what it is. We're not going to brush that away, but the acknowledgement, is it really there, or is it just a back voice, way in the back of our mind that we're still like running this hamster wheel circus of experience? And when we do that, we're crushing ourselves still. So my invitation to myself and to all of us is that when we think about this narrative of busyness, if we can drill down inside of that and we can ask ourselves and be completely honest with ourselves, is there a need that I feel that I have that is not aligned in parallel, in conjunction with this schedule that I've set for myself? And if there's a need inside, when I drill down deep inside this narrative of busyness that I am subscribing to, am I willing to soften? Am I willing to drop into that? Am I willing to take a deeper look and say, wait, why have I scheduled myself and my family to this degree? What would happen if for 1 month, and now I know most of us are like, a month, that's like way too long. Okay, what works for you? What would happen if a day, 3 days, 7 days, 11 days, 30 days, 40 days? Go gradual. But what would happen if you allowed the suspension of busyness? If you allowed a true pause, so that you could actually feel what it feels like to not be scheduled to the nth degree. Take everything off the schedule that is possible to take off. and you're sitting there listening, and if you have kids who are engaged in a million different activities, think about why it is that you're doing that. Are you doing it for their enrichment? That's a part of it. What are the other reasons that you're doing that for? Sometimes I meet people, and this is not out of judgment. Again, we're just observing, and we're lovingly observing how we make these choices. And I'm just inviting us all to, free of judgment, to sit down together and talk about, why do we do this? What are the real reasons? Yes, it might be for enrichment. Yes, it might be for learning and expansion and growth. What else is it for? Is it to fill a space because you're not sure what else to do with it? Is it to fill a space because you need time for yourself? But if you fill the space and the kids are all off doing something else, what is it that you're doing with that time that you've created? You're filling it with something else potentially. I observe this over and over. And again, this is not about judgment. This is about asking, inviting all of us sensitive souls to take enough pause to recognize when we are making choices because we're just caught in the rhythm of those choices, not because it's what we really need. We are in times right now, dear ones, where we have to make different choices. The changes that we seek, the changes that we want, will not come to be if we keep doing what we've always done. There's that old saying, the adage, right? If we continue to do what we've always done, we continue to get what we've always got. That is real. So the invitation here is sometimes the smallest changes that are implemented consistently are the most significant. Sometimes the smallest changes that we make, that we agree to consistently, offer us the most significant benefit. And so maybe it's not about scheduling. It's like, take everything off the schedule that you can, and then moment to moment within every single day, make space to allow for that check-in. Make space for the mini resets. And then own that reset. Own the time, be fully present in that moment. If it's 1 minute that you agree that, oh, here's my moment. This is my moment. Within this hour, this is my moment. And really be conscious of the reset moment. Turn the mind off. Set the energy to stillness. Set the energy to grounding. Be in the body. Be conscious of a few breaths. And another really amazing reset that you can offer yourself, that you can do for a minute or as many minutes as you're willing to immerse, is to hum. Humming is one of the most amazing medicines that we have available in our bodies. Everything is energy. We are energy. Our bodies are like tuning forks. And so you can choose whatever tone it is that feels good to you in your body, and you just break out into amazing humming sound. Take a deep breath and allow yourself to hum through the breath completely. Humming resets, rebalances, tunes, and balances, regulates the nervous system, activates the vagus nerve. We hear a lot now about vagal stimulation, vagus nerve stimulation. It's one of the best ways to balance, harmonize, center, and ground, and elevate all at the same time, simply by humming. Everyone can do that. There's not one of you out there listening who can't make a moment to take a deep breath and hum through it. Let's do that right now. Take a deep breath and hum. Very good. Just one moment of humming. What I noticed is as soon as I started humming, I'm sitting out here, as you can see, surrounded by flowers on our porch. And the bumblebees have been so active here. And seriously, they've probably been buzzing in the periphery the entire time. But as soon as I paused and took that breath to begin humming with you, I heard the humming of the bees. And so I harmonized, I resonated with their hum. That's the tone that came through. So I got to hum with the honeybees. And the funny thing, not funny, cool, interesting, is that the yogis have known this for forever. And in the yogic teachings, this is called Brahmari breath. And it is honeybee. It's honeybee breath. So you just take that deep breath in and hum. And every time you do it, just focus on that resonating, buzzing feeling that you can feel, and see if you can move that buzzing feeling through your entire body. Now, you're going to notice, if you really do this and you're very actively present in the experience, you're going to notice that you enjoy that buzzing feeling. You're going to notice, hey, I live in a body of resonance. I live inside of a tuning instrument. And I can attune myself. I can shift my consciousness. I can shift presence within me. I can connect, I can balance, I can ground, I can elevate with nothing more than the breath in my own body. Breath coming into sound through humming. I want you to try that. Please just try that. And then comment underneath the video. I want to hear what this experience is like for you. And then when you notice that it feels good, because I think that you will, I don't know how you couldn't, and everyone can hum, so I trust you can do this. I don't want you to keep this to yourself. So many times we learn these nuggets of expansion experience, and we just keep it to ourselves, and we go lock ourselves in a closet to hum for a few breaths. Just everybody can hum. Have you ever met somebody in the grocery store who's humming a tune? You just go on and do your honeybee hum. And when somebody says, hey, what's that all about? Share it with them and share why it's beneficial. Get the whole world humming together. That would be an amazing reset. And this is true self-care for sensitive souls. We have to stick together. We have to make time for ourselves and give each other permission to do the same. Because if we do that, that's where real change happens. That's where we really start humming and vibrating and expanding in this time of transformation in the most beautiful ways. So there it is. That's all. Clear your schedules of everything you possibly can. Show yourself what it feels like to have space. And you might notice, I've heard this from many people, that when you first start trying this, you feel a little uncomfortable because you're not sure, well, what am I supposed to do in this space? Sit with the discomfort. That's what you're supposed to do. Ask it questions. Why? Why the discomfort? What else is inside of that? What are you afraid to experience in the stillness? A lot of us are afraid to allow that experience of space, of stillness. Because, and this is really what I believe it is, dear hearts, tender hearts, I think it's because if we allow space to sit in the stillness, we're going to hear our hearts. And we're going to hear our souls cry. And that's tender. That's super tender. But it is also so rewarding. And it's what we're here for. In the stillness, when we make space, we hear the voice of our soul. We're here to live that alive. Give yourself space, and if it's uncomfortable, embrace the discomfort. Ask it questions. And see if you can allow yourself to truly expand space as a practice in self-care. That's what I've got for us this week. Enjoy the steeping. Take it seriously, not too seriously. Keep it light. but take it to heart. Ask your heart, ask your soul, listen, honor, acknowledge, and take action that allows space. Thank you for being here. Thank you for humming with me. Keep humming, keep buzzing, keep the buzz alive. I'm Savi Ma from lovingawareness.org and Illuminate Your Circle. If you enjoy these messages and you find that they help you in any way, please consider sharing with those that need to hear this as much as you needed to hear it. Subscribe to our channel. Give us a thumbs up. Please leave a comment below. And if you would like more support like this, consider becoming a member. Subscribe to Illuminate Your Circle. There are amazing resources there, journal pages and guided meditations and all sorts of little beautiful practices like this that can really help you on your journey, sensitive soul, as you grow and evolve and transform. I love you.